Okay, in the main screen you obviously have multiplayer. Rank matches are required level 10. I'm not entirely sure yet if you can actually play them here on the beta. The leaderboards are unavailable. Single player says practice, tutorial, which will show you how to play the game. Practice against AI is not very good, honestly. The AI sucks. I beat it very easily. I think they just give it to you, honestly. This is the deck builder here, which I'm going to go into. This is how you create your decks, kind of similar to the other one. They give you a couple decks. I created Foltis 3, that's what I used in the original. You can choose all the factions that were in Witcher 3, even Skellige, even though they were so anti-Skellige. You can accept your leader. I only have one leader unlocked right now. Creating your deck is pretty straightforward. You look at what you want. A lot of the games are the same, Biting Frost and all that stuff. You just choose what you want. Commander's Horn, you put them, special cards on the bottom. It's still the same with ranged, close range, and trebuchets and long distance guys. We're gonna go back and check out the next page, which is the shop, which I'm a little iffy about, honestly. We'll come back to collection. In shop, you have the option to buy kegs, which is how you unlock more cards. You can actually pay money to buy these kegs. I haven't looked it up yet, so I'm not sure if you get to keep those cards when you move on to the original game. When the original game comes out, what happens to the cards I bought? Like, I'm honestly not entirely sure. But you earn money in the game, obviously, which you get to buy kegs, which we're gonna do right now. I have just enough. 100 for a keg is 100. Pretty quickly, maybe 3 games, you make enough. 4 if you win. If you lose, most of the time you get nothing because you lost and you are a loser and you deserve nothing. You get 4 cards at first, which you flip. These are all yours. They belong to you. You keep them, and then you get a choice of another card, which is up to you. These are usually pretty good. It tells you if you own the card up at the top, which I don't own this one, so I'm going to take this one, obviously. And I play with Northern Realms, because Northern Realms is the best. A lot of people on here seem favorable to monsters, though. The game is very similar, very similar to the original one. We're going to go back now to collection since we just bought some cards. In collection, they have a new feature where you basically get to... You see all your cards here that you own. You can only have 3 of the same card, which is allowed. Basically, that's it. As you can see, most of my cards I have 2 or 3 of, and some of these are blacked out, like this right here. What you can do is, if you have more than 3 cards, which I'm not sure if I have more than 3 of one, I'll look through them. You can basically mill a card, which is destroy it, and you get scraps from destroying them. If you look at the top right corner, I have 20 scraps. So you can look at the card. It tells you on the right side, craft minus 80. So it takes 80 to craft one of these cards. If we keep going, hopefully we'll find something that's 20. Pretty sure we won't, though. Like this one right here is crazy, 800. You get the idea. You could definitely mill something. You have filters to help you look for something that, if you're looking for a card that you just unlocked or not, you can find it easily through the filters. Oh, here we go, 4. So I'm gonna go to this guy right here, and you press X to mill. It tells you you'll gain 5 scraps. So since you cannot have, you can obviously have it in your collection, but you can't have more than 3 of the same card in your deck, so it's pretty much useless to have 4 of the same card, because you can only put 3 of that card in your actual deck. So you mill it and you get, I got 25 out of it. Not sure what's worth 25. kind of broke. Basically, the cheapest card I've seen so far is 30. But when you have it, you could press it and you can craft it, which I don't have enough to craft right now. We're gonna back out and go to the main page again, which is casual match. On single player though, they did have a campaign option which they removed with the last patch. And if you go over to options, they give you a patch notes section that basically tells you what they've updated so far, which they're constantly doing. And if you look at it, you can see that they've nerfed a couple things and taken some things up, like field medic strength changed from 2 to 4. I use field medic all the time, so that's better for me, honestly. They tell you what they've fixed. They've removed a couple things. The game itself is pretty much straightforward, just like Gwent was before. The only thing that's really different is they added abilities to these cards, and they've changed some of the powers. Like Commander's Horn, for instance, doesn't double the strength of the entire row anymore. Now it only doubles, it gives 4 actually to 5 different cards on the same row, which is somehow a little more complicated but still simple. We're gonna jump into a single player game. It plays exactly like a multiplayer game. We're gonna keep this short, so we're gonna just jump in here. Voltus 3 is what I use. Online there is no chat feature as of yet. I don't know if they'll create one eventually. The games don't last any long. Typically playing multiplayer, you last about 15 minutes each game, 3 rounds just like the original. Very similar. It's still the same game. They've just added a couple more things to make it a little bit more interesting.
Onward! Attack!
They've obviously taken some things out. So far they have 3 different cards now. You have classes like this, which is silver, bronze is like basic cards, and then gold is like Geralt or I can't remember what that girl's name, Jennifer. You know, those were all the gold cards. They're pretty much still in here. I have a girl somewhere. You still get to redraw 3 cards as soon as you start. So playing, they're using monsters. As you can see, if you press X, it shows you all the cards that were played. It tells you, if you scroll to the right, how many cards are in your graveyard, how many you still have in your deck. They still have spy cards, which I like to use. I like to spam my opponent with spy cards like I'm doing right now. Scorch is still in here, which was incredibly annoying in the other game, but unfortunately you can still use it. He's trying to throw the first round, obviously, so I'm gonna Scorch that spy card and get him down to 7, and then I'm gonna drop an 8. He's got lucky with monsters. The game is, like I said, really similar, as the basics are still basically the same. Honestly, it's still the same game. It's still fun. The only thing I didn't really care for was the spending money. I hope that they keep it, strategy based. I'm hoping that it stays with skill. The other one didn't have all these crazy abilities, but it was based on pretty much your strategy, how you can anticipate what your opponent was going to do. If you can throw the first round and get him to use all his strong cards and then have more cards. You do pick up 3 now. Before it was you pick up 1 every time you win a round, your opponent gets nothing. And now you can pick up 3 in the first round. We're going to forfeit and go back to the main screen. When you play online against an opponent, at this screen right here where it says defeat, because I just forfeited, you can actually press the X button to send the player you're playing against a good game, and they will get scraps and experience simply for you sending a good game, and they will send you some obviously as well. Check us out, Level 1 Gaming. This is Andy. I enjoy playing it a lot, and I'm probably going to keep playing now that this video is pretty much over. Gwent, the Witcher card game. It's pretty good.